Southern accent.
Perspective of conservative and libertarian views on local issues and news of the day.
With your host, Anthony Allen
and George Peterson. Taking it to the streets.
If you would like to participate in the show, please call us 504-556-9696.
All right. Got a little bit of feedback here. Hang on. Okay. All right, now I don't have feedback. Thank you, Anthony. Sorry about that. All right, y'all, it is Friday, time for Liberty with a Southern Accent. Your host, Anthony Allen, and George Peterson, who will join us in studio here in just a minute. Tell you, it's been a beautiful day here in Biloxi. I'm remoting in again. And y'all ever want to know the definition of a redneck? I definitely am right now. I've been working out in the yard and got my first sunburn of the year, so I guess things are great down here on Biloxi Beach. Going to start off talking about the murder report, as usual. And looks like crime is down this week in the city, at least on murders. We have one, looks like it's in Algiers that I see, according to crimemapping.com. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but
they have all kinds of other duties also.
So, and had something else going on. Had New Orleans City Councilman James Gray, his law license got suspended. So, guess he got caught not representing his clients diligently like he was supposed to, or zealously, whatever their oath is. So he will no longer be practicing law for the next 2 years. I wonder how that's going to play out in the elections. I wonder if he's going to keep his job on the New Orleans City Council, or if they're going to vote him down. But the ruling handed down Tuesday, March 17th, followed the advice of the Louisiana Attorney Disciplinary Board. The court effectively agreed that Gray had mishandled cases of several clients while practicing law as their private attorney. The High Court also ruled that Gray's refund fees of 2 of those clients in amounts determined by an arbitrator. Wonder if he's actually going to pay him.
Well, my question, Anthony, is, if he's treating his law customers, his clients like this, how is he really representing his constituents in his district in Orleans Parish? I mean, geez, Pete.
Well, I can guarantee you he is probably not doing it zealously like he was his clients. He's probably sitting back and taking whatever kickbacks he can get, would be my guess. I don't know that for fact, and I can't stake claim to that because that would be libel, but I am saying that would probably be my guess.
Wow, I mean, is he changing the light bulbs?
Well, I have no clue. Maybe he's sweeping the floor.
Yeah, we just know he ain't doing his job. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Hey, I got another one for you that I found. Another public official that actually is now being disbarred. William Jefferson is back in the news. Y'all remember him?
Dollar Bill Jefferson?
Dollar Bill Jefferson. That's right. He is back in the news.
Oh no.
He is serving a 13-year sentence for public corruption. And wait a minute, I thought if you were convicted of a felony while you had a law license, you were automatically disbarred. Isn't that how it works?
Well, this is Louisiana, and they do have special laws for special people.
Really?
Oh man.
Hey, do you even have to pass the bar in Louisiana? I mean, do you even have to go to law school to take the bar exam in Louisiana, or is it one of those states like California.
Only if you're in politics do you have to not, do you get that pass? You don't have to do that. Politicians don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess all those law students down there at Tulane and Loyola and LSU could have definitely saved their $100,000 postgraduate tuition there and just ran for office, huh?
Right, because you run for office, you get everything basically covered for you. Geez. Say, Anthony, what did you think about the Saints last week? We didn't have a chance to talk about the Saints and cleaning house. What do you think about that?
I really don't know what to think, man. I know I've got a whole bunch of friends of mine who, like me, are Saints fans, and they were ticked. I mean, they were completely ticked.
I saw a real funny Twitter post. Somebody posted. They said that you got to know that it's going to be a bad off season when they first start cleaning house by firing the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah, I saw that one too, and that's very true. That must really suck for his grandkids. I know he's one of Tom Benson is one of Forbes 400. What is he, like 370 something, or it was a couple of years ago, of the 400 richest people in the world. And that must really suck for his grandkids because they're getting none of that. They done made him mad. They ain't getting nothing.
Oh, you gotta wonder, what did Rita Benson LeBlanc? What did she do? What did she do to tick him off so bad? I mean,
Well, whatever she did, I guess she did it well.
She was a whore.
Ooh, I don't know about that now. Don't know about that now. So let's see.
Hey, you know what? She must have been doing something right. She got that old man his money.
Well, she was, like I said, she was, she did run the Saints for a little while. So,
well, what gets me is this man is, how old is Tom Benson? I know he's in his late 80s, probably 90, ain't he?
I haven't been keeping track of Mr. Benson's age.
I don't know. Let me look him up here. I know he's
He's
got
87.
87 years old. 87 years old. Okay. You're one of the richest men in the world. You're the richest man probably in the Gulf South. Not just Louisiana, but the Gulf South, period. And you mean to tell me that you have to have a psych eval court-ordered to tell you what you can and cannot do with your own money? Now, what kind of sense does that make to anybody?
That's when you got that kind of money, people are going to come after you. Especially your own family. But geez, I mean, look, now we're cleaning the house. I mean, do we have anybody left on the Saints? Is there anybody left on the Saints roster?
Did Drew Brees get traded, or is he still there?
I think Jimmy John's picked him up. Oh no, that's his sandwich shop. Okay, no. Look, did you notice that in some other news, Orleans Parish Sheriff Marlon Gussman, that he basically thumbed his nose at city and state laws when he approved a $80 million contract for inmate health care at Orleans Parish Prison. $80 million for health care.
Well, wait a minute.
They're going to be being treated better than you and me.
Hasn't he been thumbing his nose at the law since the day he was elected sheriff?
Well, let me tell you, when I owned my gun shop, we used to, have 4473s for people that have to come and, purchase firearms. They had to fill out that back and get that FBI NICS background check.
Yeah, the long form.
Right. Well, let me just tell you that a lot of the people who worked for the Orleans Parish Criminal Sheriff's Office couldn't pass that FBI background check. And we used to jokingly say, well, this is why they call it the Criminal Sheriff's Office.
Well, I have a neighbor of mine. He lives across the street, and I'm not going to say his name, but he is an ex-employee of OPP. He wasn't a CO or nothing. He was just a maintenance dude. But Marlon come after him pretty good after what he said about him after Katrina. Come after him real hard.
Well, I don't know. But look, Anthony, we've been trying to catch up on some old news. We got some stuff going on. I wanted to tell you about the Louisiana Republican State Central Committee and where we're going with within the party.
You know what?
Very interested in that, and we've got some issues, regarding Congressman Steve Scalise and some of his voting.
Yeah, you know what, George? I got a bone to pick with you on that. So,
in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Now that I've got you in studio, I could go ahead and grill you. I want to know what the RSCC plans to do about all these dead-blasted Republicans that are just pandering to Obama. I want to know what you're doing about it, Mr. RSCC member.
Well, I think we're getting ready to head for a break in about a half a second here. So when we come back from break, we're going to go ahead and we'll get into this.
You want to call us up, 504-556-9696. Liberty with a Southern accent where I'm going to grill George.
Barbecue style.
Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern accent.
If you like what you hear,
Or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern accent would like for you to check out Kelly Firearms, veteran owned, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at the First Mississippi exit on I-59 North. They got guns, ammo, custom-built AR-15s, tactical gear, and anything else you need to have a good day at the range. Give them a call at 520-668-3910 or find them at Facebook.com/Kelly Firearms.
Are you bored going to the same shooting range? Or just want to try something new? Here at Mississippi Combat Training Academy, we offer tactical training, shooting gym, also zombie survival school, veteran owned. Just contact Mike at 228-365-0022 or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MCTA Range, located in the buffer zone on Texas Flat Road, Hancock County, Mississippi. Convenient to New Orleans, Slidell, and Mississippi Gulf Coast.
This is retired Colonel Rob Maness, former U.S. Senate candidate and founder of GatorPAC. All across the country, citizens are rising up and speaking out, reminding elected officials that they work for us. GatorPAC gives liberty-minded citizens the teeth and the tools to hold their elected officials accountable. To help clean out the swamp, visit GatorPAC.com. Join me, Colonel Rob Maness, as we drain the swamp. Neither military information, military branch logos, nor photographs imply endorsement of GatorPAC by the Department of Defense or their particular military departments. Paid for by GatorPAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Jigger's Bar and Grill at 1645 Vets near Bonneville has plenty of convenient parking and is a great place for lunch. Sandwiches, burgers, wraps, salads, quesadillas, all delicious. There's a big screen TV to watch the sporting events, and happy hour lasts from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Great dinner specials under $11, and if you have late night munchies, Jigger's is a place to go. You can dine in or order at 828-3555. See you soon at Jigger's.
Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
destiny. There's a rising sun.
All right.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Liberty with a Southern Accent with George Peterson and Anthony Allen. Anthony, you said you want to grill. You want to have a barbecue. You want to grill me? Is that what you're talking about?
Now it's going to be more like a crawfish boil when I get done with you.
Oh yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
I want to know exactly what you are doing. You Republicans are doing.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Hey, you're the one that's on the Republican State Central Committee, so I guess that would make you a Republican. Anyway, so what are you Republicans doing about Steve Scalise?
Well, here's the funny thing is that the members who are on the Republican State Central Committee are actually the people who are closest to the communities, because we represent the constituents in our community, in our neighborhoods. That's where we represent people in our own, I guess they say, state house legislative districts. And so there's about 250 roughly members of the Republican State Central Committee, and we have an executive committee. So we meet quarterly, and we look at what's going on within the Republican Party, and we pass resolutions, whether giving kudos for when there's kudos, or like in the instance with Congressman Scalise. What we're actually looking to do with Congressman Scalise here is we've already written up a draft of a resolution for a letter of censorship to censure Congressman Scalise for his failures to live up to his.
And what exactly does this letter of censure do?
Well, it's basically, like with any employee, you have a letter of reprimand that goes into your permanent employment record. So this goes into his permanent congressional record, and it makes it a lot harder for him to run for re-election.
Yeah, but does he have to tell everybody that somebody wrote a letter of censure? Or is it just like, just like anything else where, okay, I got it, but, I ain't worried about it. I don't care. I'm elected. I'm here for the next 2 years. And, 2 years later, when the voters, who have very short memories, by the way, American voters do, everybody forgot about it by the end.
Well, what happens, Anthony, is when the Republican State Central Committee, or any State Central Committee, does a resolution or a some sort of a letter of censure or something like that, what happens is that it's always it's given to the media, and the media actually comes to the Republican State Central Committee meetings. I know they don't go to the wrestling match that's called the Libertarian Party of Louisiana State Central Committee meetings, because those are funny. But with the Republican Party, when we do something as serious as censuring a congressman, that's put out in a press release and released to the news media. And so
okay, and what news media other than us is going to pick this up? I mean, is it going to go like on WDSU or WWL or WAFB, or is it just up to them? I mean,
there's several. There are several. Let me tell you. You ask a question. Let me tell you. There are several co-sponsors of this resolution to censure Congressman Scalise. And when we get through and we pass this resolution, what we're going to do. I mean, I know they have a resolutions committee that may oppose us doing this, but we can raise this from the floor according to Robert's Rule of Order. So what we'll do is the several members who are co-sponsoring this resolution for a letter of censure, what we'll do is we'll present this to our as a press release in our own communities, because you got to remember, again, the several members of the State Central Committee also are representatives within their communities. So what they do is that we can do press releases within our own districts that we would send to our local radio, print, and television media. So when we, if we do something where we are able to present this letter to censure Congressman Scalise for what he's done, then what we're going to be doing and looking at specifically is, presenting that to like the Times-Picayune, the WWL, radio, TV, WGSO, of course, will pick it up, and it's going to be a press release.
Okay.
So let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. We have the proposed resolution to censure. Let's see. Here it is in writing. I'll read it out real quick. That way, you all can, you and the radio listeners can actually get an idea of what we're actually looking to censure. And of course, some of the co-sponsors of this resolution are actually looking to add some other paragraphs, because what we're looking at specifically here is, let's see, be it known that this date, which will be the next meeting date, that the State Central Committee of the Republican Party of Louisiana hereby declares that Congressman Steve Scalise, elected representative of Louisiana U.S. 1st Congressional District of the House of Representatives, has failed to uphold his conservative values and constitutional authority given to his office under Article 1 of the Constitution of these United States, the written rule of law of our republic, by way of the following actions. And now, of course, we only have this one particular action here, which was, whereas on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2015, Congressman Steve Scalise was the sole member of the Louisiana Republican congressional delegation to vote in the affirmative on H.R. 240 to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security, which will also fund, uphold, and legitimize President Obama's illegal and unconstitutional executive amnesty for illegal, undocumented aliens, and thereby violating numerous promises and statements said to block said executive amnesty, as well as defying the will of the majority of the Louisiana constituents. Therefore, be it resolved that the State Central Committee of the Republican Party of Louisiana hereby censures Congressman Steve Scalise for the aforementioned grievances or offenses against the citizens of the great state of Louisiana and the constitutional rule of law of these United States of America. So that's what we're proposing, and we're getting ready to take a break. And, if anybody would like to weigh in on how you feel about Congressman Scalise and any of his, recent votes, please give us a call, 504-556-9696. That's 504-556. 556-9696. Give us a call.
Liberty with a Southern accent.
If you like what you hear,
Or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
This is David Duplantier, Dean of Christ Church Cathedral, between 6th and 7th Street on St. Charles Avenue, inviting you to join us for our daily worship services in the Cathedral Chapel, Monday through Friday at 12:15, including laying on of hands for healing on Wednesday, and Saturday morning at 9:30. The chapel is located between 6th and 7th on St. Charles Avenue, and for more information, you can look at our website, www.cccnola.org.
Jobs may change, but your retirement dreams don't have to. Roll over your retirement accounts from former employers into an Ameriprise IRA to help make your retirement dreams a reality. Call Ralph Leopold today at 504-322-2975. That's 504-322-2975. Office is located at Suite 1620 in the Galleria, Metairie, Louisiana. Ameriprise Financial Services, Incorporated. Member FINRA and SIPC. Ameriprise cannot guarantee future financial results.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Tom Peace. Yemen in chaos as terrorist suicide bombings cause mass casualties. The Blaze Radio's Kay Long reports.
We're still investigating to determine whether or not there are actually command and control structures in place that may provide some evidence to substantiate the claim that ISIL was involved in these attacks.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest at the Daily Press Briefing talking about the deadly terrorist massacre in Yemen's capital city. Suicide bombers hitting mosques, killing more than 100, injuring nearly 400. The ISIS terrorist Yemeni branch claiming responsibility. Earnest saying the president offering his condolences.
We deplore the brutality of the terrorists who perpetrated today's unprovoked attack on Yemeni citizens who were peacefully engaging in Friday prayers in their places of worship.
The head of a House panel investigating Benghazi is demanding that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton turn over her private email server. South Carolina Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy sends Clinton a letter asking her to turn over the server to the State Department's Inspector General or a mutually agreeable third party. Gowdy says he sends the letter in the interest of transparency for the American people. The president with a message for the Iranian people about a nuclear agreement. Here's the Blaze Radio's Robin Walensky.
To everyone celebrating Nowruz across the United States and in countries around the world, Nowruz Mubarak.
Message to the enemy. President Obama takes to YouTube and posts a message to the Iranian people, urging them to speak up for a nuclear compromise.
My message to you, the people of Iran, is that together we have to speak up for the future we seek.
Conservative commentator Charles Krauthammer reacts on the Kelly File on Fox News.
A president addressing a serious adversary, enemy of the U.S., where the leader leads chants of death to America, and in the midst of it, he takes a swipe at a most loyal ally in the region. If only he would address as warmly the Israelis as he does the Iranians and their leaders.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. When you go for a cup of coffee, you're looking for a quick jolt, a little treat, a place to do some reading, studying, or maybe meet a friend. Do you go to Starbucks to engage the barista in a discussion on race? Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, is now asking his baristas to engage customers in racial discussions. Can you think of anything more inappropriate? Anything more unappealing? Despite an incredibly negative reaction, Starbucks is standing by their race talk. They want their baristas to write race together on all the cups of coffee. This ludicrous idea is just the latest PC claptrap pursued by Starbucks. A few years ago, they made it known that they didn't want any customers bringing a weapon inside a Starbucks, whether they had a concealed carry permit or not. They didn't care about the Second Amendment. It just makes them feel good. Same with this discussion on race. It won't solve anything, but the CEO just feels good bringing it up. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
What do you do with savory Johnsonville Italian sausage?
Well, I turn regular pasta into Mom's famous rigatoni and sausage.
I turn plain pasta into Uncle Charlie's world-renowned baked ziti.
With Johnsonville, I make Judy's legendary spaghetti and meatballs.
Create your world-famous pasta dish. Pick up Johnsonville Italian sausage in links or ground and bring sizzle to pasta night.
A Seattle man went to bed with nearly $300,000 in the bank. By morning, it was gone because of some identity thief. Imagine if a thief stole your life savings. No one can stop all identity theft, so here's what you do. Get LifeLock Ultimate Plus. LifeLock Ultimate Plus is the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. So if some thief goes after your life savings, LifeLock's on it before the damage is done. Visit LifeLock.com now and enter promo code Gordon for 10% off. LifeLock.com. Network does not cover all transactions.
All right, so we're back, and let's see. Anthony was asking me a little bit about what we Republicans were doing about our elected officials, and one of the things I want you to also to know, Anthony, and our radio listeners, is that just because someone is how you want to say, an elected Republican doesn't mean that they actually follow Republican values. And we found that out, looking at, Congressman Scalise and, the last...
look at George Bush or
Bush is out of office. Get over it, dude.
I know he's out of office. I'm just saying he didn't exactly follow the conservative line either.
No, and I tell you what, I was actually a registered independent until such time that I was looking at getting more involved with the Republican Party because I just can't stand the idea that these Republicans want to act like a bunch of Democrats when they get up in Congress. I mean, that's the problem. They want to act like that, and the only way that I see to get involved, of course, is to fire them. No, well, firing them doesn't work because the electorate doesn't. You have a lot of low information voters that just don't pay attention. But speaking about paying attention, Anthony, I wanted to let you know. I mean that Liberty with a Southern accent. Guess what? We've gone international. We've actually through the great links of TuneIn and other apps and other ways that people have found out about our radio show.
Amateur radio, by the way.
We have one of our fans. We have a listener calling in from way down under. Cole from Australia. Hey Cole, how you doing, buddy?
I'm going well, George. How are you? Hello, Anthony.
Awesome.
Hey Cole.
I really appreciate your calling in. Cole, tell us what's on your mind this evening.
Okay, well, as Anthony said, I was directed to this show by a friend of mine on amateur radio, and I managed to find it, and I downloaded and listened to a few of the past episodes, and I'm really, really impressed with the way that you people there stick up for your rights, your liberties. Unfortunately, here in Australia, we don't have rights. We don't have a Bill of Rights. And,
that's a shame. That's a damn shame. I mean, I think, because one of the great things, in my opinion, of course, I facilitate a Constitution boot camp monthly where we actually study our Constitution and our founding fathers. And, one of the things that I always found was, intriguing is that our founding fathers looked at the Bill of Rights and that they were just basic human rights. And the way that they written our Constitution was not to guarantee those rights, but to protect our government from taking away those damn rights.
Well, George, me and Cole actually started talking a couple of years ago on amateur radio, and one of the first things that we had discussed was the history of our countries, and of course, Australia started off as a penal colony.
I'm sorry. Did you say a penal colony? Oh, penal colony. Okay. Penile colony.
A prison camp. How about that? Is that more FCC friendly?
I don't know what FCC friendly means yet. I'm an amateur at this myself. but no, I'm sorry. I digressed. Go ahead. Come on.
Okay. And of course, Cole being, coming from a country of criminals, basically. No offense.
Is that like Washington D.C.?
No, actually, that's where the criminals should be. But I guess that's why y'all don't have any rights, and we've actually got somewhat of an Australian rebel flag, or the equivalent of, as I call it, a Eureka flag, and that was basically Australians stepping up for their rights against the king. And I guess that would have been the one time that Australians did step up.
Well,
since then, they just kind of got screwed on that deal, right, Cole?
Yes, well, first of all, let me say that Australia started becoming a prison camp, we'll put it that way, after you lot over there decided you weren't going to take any more. Okay, when the USA got up and fought the War of Independence, they had to send them somewhere, so they sent them around the other side of the world to Australia. But yes, you are right. The only time that I'm aware of that Australians have ever tried to rise up against the people that govern them was in the Eureka Stockade, they called it, in Eureka. And that was only a group of miners got together, created themselves a flag with the Southern Cross on it, and basically told the government they weren't going to pay their taxes. So the government at the time sent out a whole stack of redcoats, and and whoop there, you know what. So that was it. Australia never actually fought for independence from Britain, although we are notionally independent now. We're still a part of the Commonwealth. So Australia does not have a history of fighting for rights and freedoms. And it's got to the stage where a lot of people know more about the US Constitution and the rights of US citizens through TV, and they assume that they have the same rights, and they don't. A very interesting comment was made by the Prime Minister at the time when these gun laws came in, and he was asked about rights, and he said, Australians have no rights. They have privileges which can be removed at any time.
Yeah, and that's BS. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, now tell me, Cole. I'm a Second Amendment guy. I believe in the Second Amendment, and just real briefly, because we have a few more callers on the line. I was wondering, can you kind of just tell us a little bit about, where are you all now with, your right to be able to keep and bear arms to defend yourselves? Where are we with that now?
Okay, defence or personal protection is not a valid reason to own a firearm in Australia.
What?
And
what?
That is correct. What they've done, and the actual fact of licensing certain types of firearms and banning all semi-automatic firearms, etc., that was bad enough.
Man, I would die without my Ruger.
That's right. What they did in the background was they put into those same laws, they removed any right to use a weapon of any kind for personal protection. Now, that would also cover a baseball bat.
What? That's just crazy.
Okay, so if somebody breaks into your home, you can't run them out with a bayonet, a sword, a knife, a baseball bat, or anything?
Oh, no. Then you will be in court, not the person who broke in.
So you can't even defend yourself?
They do have provision for reasonable force, but you have to prove to them that you used force that was reasonable to the situation you were in.
Now, do y'all have Visqueen and bleach over there in Australia?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's one way of avoiding this whole issue.
Yeah.
Well, Cole, this is the thing, in Mississippi where I live, in Louisiana where George lives, we have something called the Castle Doctrine, which basically means that you break into my house, you're dead if I can pull my weapon in time.
Yeah.
Right.
Not here. Not here at all.
That is.
Someone breaks into your house. First of all, you're supposed to escape. You're supposed to retreat from any sort of threat like that. It's only if you are cornered, for instance, and in fear of assault, for instance, okay? If you're in fear of assault, you are only allowed to use force reasonable to avoid or prevent the assault.
If you come after me and I shoot you, I think that's reasonable enough force to prevent it.
Well, also
I prevented it.
but also, y'all do have crocodiles over there in Australia too, right?
Right, and they are protected. You're not allowed to shoot them.
But you're allowed to feed them, right?
Oh, you can feed them on tourists.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if somebody, I live in Wagaman, which is a nice little rural community over here in Louisiana, and we have hogs and alligators, coyotes, and other wild animals over there. Somebody, if it becomes a little questionable about, if I'm going to be able to, if I'm going to get a little hassle about it, I might just have to, just get rid of the evidence. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, look, we've got some other folks on the phone, and I am so so grateful for you to call in, Cole. All the way from Australia. That is just awesome. That
beautiful Brisbane, Australia.
Brisbane. Oh, I'd love to that'd be a nice place to vacation, huh, Anthony?
That would be. I'd love to go there.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome anytime. And just let me say to the listeners, safeguard the rights that you have. Once you start letting them take them off you, it does not stop. It's a downward spiral.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Y'all heard it, and this is a man who definitely is living it. It sounds like.
That's why we have Liberty with a Southern accent. Cole, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. Keep listening to us, buddy. Looking forward to it.
73, buddy.
Shall do.
73.
Cheers.
Thanks for your call.
Let's see who we also have another one of my fellow. Here we go, Anthony. One of my fellow Republican State Central Committee members is calling in to also talk about Congressman Scalise and what the Republican the members of the Republican Party do. And here's my good friend Randolph. Hey Randy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Randolph, welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Hey, man. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, before the break, Randy, I was reading to my co-host here because he's a libertarian. He doesn't really believe in the he thinks that all Republicans are the same, basically. And I was explaining to him how what we're trying to do by holding our elected officials in the Republican Party, how we're trying to hold their feet to the fire. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about some of your thoughts?
Well, it's it's interesting that Cole just got off the phone, and one of his outgoing comments was don't let it slide away from you, and I think that's a very fitting thing, and from someone from Australia who's outside the forest who can see the trees for what they are, and that's just what we've got here. And I think one of the most elegant ways of putting it is we've heard so much in the last few years and decades about our governmental system between the Democrats and Republicans. No one is getting anything accomplished, and everyone needs to compromise. It just brings to mind one fitting statement that I like to tell people.
Well, this is a question. This is a question that I have for y'all. When is the last time the Republican Party has ever actually limited government?
Well,
that's what I would like to
throw
see.
this out there to you, and just remember this one statement. It's going to ring true, and never forget this. Anytime that you compromise with a liberal or a Democrat, they always get something they want, and you always have to give something that you already have. And it should be pretty obvious by now that one thing is your freedom. Okay, and I think that's pretty much what says it all, because remember, the word government means to govern, which means to control. And anytime that you enact legislation, very seldom is it unacting legislation, it's enacting new legislation. So what happens is, over time, government by its own doctrine just becomes overreaching and bigger as time goes. So I think that's one of the fundamental aspects that we have to remember about what happens when things get legislated. Okay, very seldom is anything legislated in the negative to remove laws. It's always legislating new laws or modifying existing laws. So let's just keep that in perspective for a moment.
No.
But as far as the Republican Party is concerned right now, I think that we've seen the compromise starting back in the 90s, okay, when the Republicans, during the Clinton administration, they were going to share the power. The Republicans had the hand, and they went ahead and dropped the ball with that. And we've seen that trend happening, and of course it's been happening ever since, the Barack Obama administration has taken over. We've heard the promises that they're going to take a stand, they're going to do everything possible to defund Obamacare. They're going to look out for one thing and another. And, of course, it's hard to sit back and watch when you see these continuing resolutions for things that fund Obamacare continuously getting passed time and time again because of the fear that they have about having to shut down not all of government, but some parts of government in order to make budget.
Well, speaking as a libertarian, sir, my thoughts are if you want to shut down government, don't threaten me with a promise. Please do it. And that's the way I feel about it.
Well, I think the thing is that we can always feel safer is that when they're shut down, we know that they're not at least passing any more legislation.
Absolutely.
Which is eroding freedom. So it's not going to bother me one way or the other whether government gets shut down because, as things are written, certain things have to be funded. The military is going to get their checks. Other aspects are going to be funded. And of course, the extras or the quote icing on the cake may not be around, but the meat of what needs to be done will continue to function. So it's all these little peripheral things that they like to use as a threat. And when you shut this down, you won't be able to do this. You won't be able to go here. You won't be able to see this, that, and all this other great stuff. And of course, the unemployment numbers are another thing that they continue to throw out. These people are going to be unemployed.
Well, hold on, Anthony Randall, hold on. We're getting ready to have a break here. Randy, if you'd like to hold on, and let's pick that back up. And we got a few more callers. When we come back.
On the road again.
Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern Accent.
If you like what you hear,
Or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern Accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
Join me, Greg Douglas, on Fan to Fan Radio, your college sports headquarters in New Orleans. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. on WGSO 990 and WGSO.com.
I'm Jeff Cruere.
I'm Eric Asher. You can always catch us on the radio right here on WGSO 990 AM.
Did you know you can catch us on TV?
That's right, Jeff. We're on WLAE TV.
Join me every Friday on Ringside Politics with a Punch at 7:30 with a rebroadcast Sunday at 10 p.m.
Check me out every Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. and a rebroadcast Friday at 10 p.m. for Inside New Orleans Sports. That's WLAE TV, Cox Channel 14, Satellite and AT&T Channel 32, Charter Channel 11. Don't miss it.
Hello, this is Coach Alan Doretta reminding you to get your kicks on the Russell Marina Grills Monday Night Football Show, Monday nights at 7 p.m. on WGSO.
This is retired Colonel Rob Maness, former U.S. Senate candidate and founder of Gator Pack. All across the country, citizens are rising up and speaking out, reminding elected officials that they work for us. Gator Pack gives liberty-minded citizens the teeth and the tools to hold their elected officials accountable. To help clean out the swamp, visit GatorPack.com. Join me, Colonel Rob Maness, as we drain the swamp. Neither military information, military branch logos, nor photographs imply endorsement of Gator Pack by the Department of Defense or their particular military departments. Paid for by Gator Pack and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Monday nights at 8 o'clock, it's time for Your Financial Education. Join us, Robert, Darrell, and the Bull, as we put your financial house in order. Monday nights at 8 o'clock.
Liberty with a Southern Accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
Oh, yeah. That brings me back. And we're back, and I wanted to thank my good friend Randy for calling in from with the State Central Committee. We're going to get back to that. We're going to continue talking about the Republican State Central Committee and several other things that I'm involved with that Anthony just doesn't understand, I guess, about.
Well, actually, George, while I've got you here, I saw a post on Facebook today that today was the anniversary of the founding of the Republican Party. I don't know if that was a true Facebook post from today or not, but my question is this. The Republican Party is 161 years old. When in their 161 years of existence have they ever, in history, going all the way back to Abraham Lincoln, have they ever limited government? That's what I'd like to know.
You'd have to look back. Look at during the Reagan years. During the Reagan years, we stood up against the Democrats. Mostly what the Republican Party has done is limited government in such a way by limiting what the Democrats have been trying to do. Like with the Democrats were the ones who opposed civil rights. The Democrats were the ones who opposed, freeing the slaves. The Democrats are the ones who continually want to expand government, and the Republicans basically continually try to stop them. We've gotten away from that recently. I can tell you that back in 2007, when we had Pelosi and Reid in office, they made me into a Republican, Pelosi and Reid. But look, let's talk about this a little bit more. We're going to be able to continue this further. We have one of our favorite listeners, Heather. Heather is on line 1. Hey, Heather, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, Dawn. Hey. Thanks for calling in, Heather. How you like the show tonight? You had something you wanted to chime in on the topic?
Oh, definitely. Look, I'm doing my American duty here. I'm getting my taxes done at H&R Block, and I don't hate on them. They're getting me. They're helping me out. They're doing better than I would have on.
Gotta love the 16th Amendment to the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
Well, don't love it so much, but I'm sure that Wendy here at TurboTax, I'm not at TurboTax, at H&R Block does. I'm like, why does it have to be so complicated? And she's just rubbing her hands together, huh? I'm just kidding, but no, she's. I'm doing good here, and I've loved the show today. I listened while she was doing my taxes. I guess I was being a little bit rude. Where do I sign this at?
Where do I sign this at? That's not a very good sign. Let me tell you, let me tell you, here's one of the things that I always think about whenever I think about taxes. And we're going to close on this because we only got a couple minutes left. But I'm going to read this to y'all both and to our listeners. But Thoreau, civil disobedience, the government which is best, which governs least. And I should like to see it acted up to more rapidly and systematically. Carried out, it finally amounts to this, which also I believe. The government which governs not at all, and when men are prepared for it. Basically, what I get from Thoreau is that when something is unconstitutional or unfathomable even, like taking away our tax dollars and sending them to our sworn enemies, I think it's our duty to conduct civil disobedience.
I agree. Hey, George, real quick.
Next week, guys.
Before the end of the show, I just want to mention thank you to Anthony from Smoke Signals. He is our new sponsor.
Yes.
And y'all go see him. He's got 4 locations. One in New Orleans, one in Slidell, one in Baton Rouge, and I can't remember where the other one is. But,
and one in Hammond, yes. So we're going to be working with Anthony with Smoke Signals. Thank you all so much for participating in the show and for listening to us. Liberty with a Southern Accent. We're looking at, starting in April, we're hoping to be able to get up to where we have 2 hours a week, so we'll be able to cover so much more topics. Thank you all so much. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, TuneIn, look for us.
And anywhere else you can find us.
Liberty with a Southern Accent.
Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern Accent.
If you like what you hear,
or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern Accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics.